and other mentors will be asking to do some marketing, some photography, some cinematography, and my job is to give you a basic understanding so when you are asked, you'll know about this class that you paid a lot of attention to. So, what is cinematography? Can somebody give me a definition? Yes.
It's when, okay, maybe not an exact definition,
Well,
but it's when you market for something and you mainly.
Cinematography.
Oh, cinema. It'd be where you would record a movie or something that would be put into cinema and. Okay, maybe not.
No, I mean that's a good answer. Anybody else?
It's kind of like a study of everything that goes into conveying what you need to convey in the film.
Okay. Anybody else? I want more answers, guys. Because at the end of this, I want everybody to know what cinematography is. Yeah?
Taking the video.
Okay. Anybody else? There's wrong answers, but there's also not wrong answers. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't?
You created a gray area.
Yeah, there's a gray area. That's what I'm here for. You guys guess? Whatever comes to your mind, just throw it at me, and we'll get the right answer at the end.
Setting up shots.
Setting up shots, okay. Anybody else? Oh, you,
The
Leah.
study of how to use a camera for cinematography.
That's
I
it.
mean,
That's,
did I just use my
no, that's a good
I
question.
mean, the study of using a camera to record cinema.
Okay. Photography, also. That's an X. Anybody else?
Is it some sort of combination between like movies and photography where you're trying to tell a story?
Okay. Okay, that's good. Do you guys want to know the exact, precise definition? Oh,
Yes.
this guy.
The art of making motion pictures.
Oh gosh, you cheated. That's.
That's not even true.
Oh, I saw you look at your phone.
Let's.
Okay, can somebody read to me what is cinematography? Anybody? Got readers with good eyesight? Well, you've been answering a lot. We'll give somebody else a chance. Okay.
Cinematography is the art and science of making motion pictures by capturing the story visually. It involves recording light either electronically onto an image sensor or chemically onto film. Cinematographers use a lens to focus reflected light from objects into moving images. It encompasses everything you see on screen, from TV shows to blockbuster movies.
Thank you. One of the things it said was lens. It involves recording light. Where does it say lens? Does it? Yeah, lens for focus. Later on, I will show you how to focus with a cinema lens. Actually, there's somebody in this room who has experience with it. Can anybody guess who?
You.
No, there's another person besides me.
There's a Logan in the back.
This guy right here. He's gonna give you a little lesson on lenses. Okay, so cinematography. That's kind of technical. I have a video that's going to give you a little bit more insight into it, and hopefully you have a much better understanding. So when I ask what cinematography is or photography, everybody should have one singular answer. If it's different, kicking you out. That's, gosh, that was bad delivery. That's a joke. Ha 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 ha. Okay.
Oh.
The three basics of cinematography.
As you can probably gather from the name of this channel, I usually make videos.
Can we make this?
No, sorry, it doesn't work out.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
That skip over some of the basics and make content that is a bit more, well, in depth. but since I've had some requests in the comments to make a video that goes over the basics of cinematography, I thought I'd do just that. As the role that the cinematographer takes on is a fairly technical and complex one, it's a bit tricky to distill all the nuanced things that they do into a single YouTube video. However, I think that the most important duties of a director of photography, or DP, can best be distilled into three basic elements: exposure, lighting, and camera positioning and movement. These three elements align with the three departments on a film set which the DP manages: the camera, lighting, and group departments. To be a cinematographer, you need to be able to control all three of these elements and manipulate them in order to capture a visual style which suits the story being told. So let's focus on each one of these departments or aspects of cinematography to show why they are crucial in order to fulfill the DP's overarching function of building and capturing the look of a film. Let's start off with a fairly necessary feature of cinematography: the camera. To capture an image, light passes through a glass lens and hits the film plane, which could house a digital sensor or film stock. How the footage will look is determined by the amount of light that hits the focal plane and the sensitivity of how easily the digital sensor or the film stock absorbs that light. This is what we call exposure. It refers to the amount of light that is exposed to the film plane. Letting in more light will result in a brighter exposure, while letting in less light will mean a darker exposure. One of the most important parts of a cinematographer's job is measuring and ensuring the correct exposure is achieved. Exposure is an important tool that DPs can easily use to create an image that reflects the correct tone and story. A simple example can be found in comedies versus horror films. Typically, comedies have a brightly exposed image which reflects the light, comedic tone of the story, while horror films often have a darker exposure, which sets a broodier, scarier psychological tone. To control exposure with the camera, the cinematographer can adjust three different variables: the shutter, the aperture, and the ISO, or film speed. Motion picture cameras usually use a rotary disc shutter. This is a semicircular disc that spins in front of the film gate. When the disc passes the film gate, light will be blocked and not let in. As it turns, there will be an open section where light will be able to hit the film plane. Since the shutter takes up a percentage of a circle in film cameras, it is measured in degrees, which is referred to as the shutter angle. Adjusting the shutter angle affects the amount of time that film is exposed to light. So making the angle smaller, like 45 degrees, means that the rotating shutter will block more light. Therefore, the exposure will be darker. Inversely, making the shutter angle bigger, like 270 degrees, means that more light will be let through, and that the exposure will be lighter. The shutter angle also controls the secondary function of motion blur. A smaller shutter angle will constrict motion blur and make footage feel choppier, while a larger shutter angle will increase motion blur. Conventionally, the shutter is therefore kept at 180 degrees, which makes movement feel normal to the human eye. Cinematographers therefore primarily use the two other variables of aperture and film speed to control exposure. Aperture is the hole in the lens that can be opened or closed to let in more or less light. On cinema lenses, this value is measured as a t-stop and as an f-stop on still photography lenses. Opening the aperture, shooting with a smaller stop number, means the hole is large and more light is let in. Closing down the aperture, shooting at a deep stop, makes the hole smaller and lets in less light. Finally, the ISO, or film speed, refers to how sensitively the digital sensor or film stock responds to light. A low film speed, such as 50 ISO, is less sensitive, so will be darker, and a high film speed, such as 800 ISO, will be brighter. So to expose an image which is not too bright and not too dark, cinematographers will manipulate this exposure triangle of shutter angle, aperture, and film speed until the footage has the correctly exposed look. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for creators with a range of Now that we know how to manipulate the brightness of an image by manipulating the amount of light that is let into the camera, cinematographers must focus on how the light that is let in actually looks. Film lighting is usually done with continuous light sources. This is where the output of an electrical light remains fixed and consistent, unlike in stills where a flash, a brief burst of light, is often used. There are two primary functions of lighting in film. First, creating a look for the film, which is visually appealing and which suits the tone and supports the storytelling of the content which is being filmed. And second, maintaining a consistent source of light, so that the exposure does not fluctuate unevenly during shooting. A mistake I made when I got my hands on a camera and first started shooting short films was not focusing enough on lighting. Beginner cinematographers, myself included, often think creating a beautiful image comes from having a nice camera to shoot on, that it's all about having the newest, fanciest gear. However, the most important part of cinematography and creating an aesthetically appealing image is rather to focus on how the image is lit. There are no hard and fast rules when it comes to lighting, but familiarizing yourself with some basic lighting ideas and even just being aware how the light hits a subject and affects the way a shot will look is the most important first step. If you'd like more information on this, I've covered some basic lighting techniques in a prior video. The second reason that lighting is important is that if you're shooting only using natural light, it has a tendency to change throughout the day. For example, the sun may begin by shining through a window and then move overhead, throwing the interior into shadow. But having a strong light source placed outside the window that replicates the sun's light will minimize any changes that might prevent different shots in a scene from matching up. Maintaining consistent lighting and cinematic continuity between different shots photographed at different times is an important part of being a DP. Now that the exposure is under control and we have lit a scene in a consistent way that supports the visual style of the story that is being told, the third most important basic element of cinematography is the placement of the camera and how it moves. Some directors may leave a lot of this to the DP. Others may like to dictate exactly how the camera moves or a shot is framed. Regardless of the creative input, it is the job of the cinematographer to technically execute those choices. When it comes to camera placement, there are some basic guidelines which should be followed, such as the 180-degree rule. This states that the camera should be kept on one side of an imaginary axis when shooting a scene that cuts between two different characters, so that the first character is always frame right of the second character. However, on occasion, filmmakers have intentionally broken this rule for effect. How each shot in a movie is framed and executed should be a conscious choice by the cinematographer and director, as different movements will have different effects on an audience. Just as different songs can make you feel different emotions, so too can camera movement, but perhaps in a more subtle way. For example, a manically operated handheld camera has a different feeling to a buttery smooth tracking shot. Therefore, when it comes to placing and moving the camera, cinematographers need to be knowledgeable about both the psychological effect that the camera movement and framing has on an audience, and an understanding of various grip rigs and gear that can be used to create those moves. So there you have it. Exposure, lighting, and camera placement and movement. 3 basics that every DP consciously controls. As I mentioned at the beginning, these 3 things only touch on the fundamentals of cinematography. There are a whole host of other decisions that DPs have to make on a minute-by-minute basis on set. But when you're starting out, Be sure to remember these three basic elements and focus on using them to bend the visual tone of the cinematography into a shape that best suits the story.
Do we feel like we have a pretty good understanding of it now? Who can tell me what aperture means? Yeah?
Aperture is the circular thing in the lens in it. When you have more aperture, it makes it close more, letting in less light.
That's a very good one. Has anybody held a cinema lens before? No. My amazing friend Logan is going to show you what a cinema lens is like. And he'll twist it so you can see. It's right here. Oh, okay. And Logan knows this box intimately, so he'll be able to find the cinema lens. And what is shutter? The people who get to hold the cinema lens first are the people who give me the first answer. Competition, guys. You?
Me?
Yeah, shutter.
I think it was something that wasn't how fast.
Huh?
It wasn't how fast it shoots. I don't remember.
Okay, that's
So the shutter itself is this little sort of plate on rotation that can change the size within different amounts of light and
okay. Good. What about ISO? ISO, who got you?
it's the sensitivity.
Film or yeah. Digital sensor.
That was it.
There you go.
You say I had it, I just didn't.
Okay. This is what Logan you can do. You can just show the lens first, and then we'll put all the pieces together. But somebody can hold the light behind the lens open, and then Logan will show you how the aperture moves. Who wants to be the light holder? Logan will stand right here. Light holder, yes, you. Be careful of the wire right there. Okay. Can you guys see through the lens? Or hold it higher?
Yeah.
Can you see? And what is that doing when Logan is switching it back and forth?
Closing, so it's letting more or less light in.
Okay, that's cool. Logan will go around and pass it to, what's your name?
Weston.
Weston first, and then you second, and then your friend, and then everybody else can do it. Thank you. Be careful with it.
Yeah, so don't touch the insides. It's like fingerprints.
Oh yeah, they get very, very heavy because there are different types of lenses you would need. Some lenses that can see very far away, and some lenses that can see really up close. The really far away ones, they're like 8-9 pounds. It's just glass and metal.
One of my friends' moms is a professional photographer, and she has like
You can pass it around.
Jack.
I think it's supposed to go to.
I don't know.
He said my friend.
Just don't touch the lens. Just don't touch it, please. It's, you can't exactly hit it.
Don't worry. I mean, it's kind of, it's not the second.
I'm sorry, my brain's not brain today.
Don't worry.
Can somebody tell me what this is in the center of the camera?
That's the
That's the lens.
That, somebody, what is, who?
Sensor.
Sensor?
digital sensor.
Okay. Anybody who know, oh, you? The mirror? This is actually a mirrorless camera. And the difference, can somebody tell me the difference between a mirror and a mirrorless camera?
One doesn't have a.
Doesn't have
But for a specific purpose. So when you have a mirrored camera, the light hits the sensor, and then the sensor, behind the sensor, there is a mirror that reflects all the way into your eyeball. So you can see it through, you can see exactly what the sensor is seeing. But with a digital mirrorless camera, everything is digital. So I can add a light and what is it? An optical thingy. I don't know what the word is. On top of it, it's not connected. It's completely independent. So it's you're seeing a digital image from what the sensor is seeing. So that's the difference between a mirrorless camera and a mirrored camera. And this is a cinema camera. It's one of the smallest ones. Why would you need, so there's different types of cameras. There are big cameras and there are small cameras. And what use cases would you need a smaller camera versus bigger camera?
When you have to film outside your set, because a big camera, it's hard to carry and keep it stable. And as you could see in the video, they use these rails to keep it stable. But if you're outside, you might need a lighter camera so you can keep it stable if you have to film outside of the movie.
That's a very good answer. Anybody else?
You do a lot of shots like following the subject and moving around that isn't just in a straight line.
Okay.
So it's hard to get consistent.
Okay. Yeah.
For shakier shots or just smaller cramped shots where you don't have a whole lot of room.
Okay. Yeah. Have you guys seen the trailer for the movie The Creator? No? 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 Okay. Well, it was shot entirely on this camera, which is pretty cool because usually when you on a film set, people want big cameras for whatever reason. And this is the Sony FX3, and they made the smallest cinema camera ever, which I'm super happy about.
What are the differences between a camera made for cinematography and photography?
The difference is the shutter speed. So this camera can shoot 120 frames per second. And some photography cameras can shoot maybe 50, 60 frames per second. This allows you to slow things very, very slow. You can watch a water balloon explode in slow motion. And with a photography camera, the shutter speed is a lot slower, so you don't always have, you can't always catch the in-between moments because they happen very, very quickly. Any other questions? How much do you think a cinema camera costs? A couple grand?
First, that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. How much?
$15,000.
Okay. Any other? Yeah.
I've got a friend that got one, I think he said for $1,000,
Okay.
or $1,300 actually.
Man, I want to know where he got his camera. Yeah.
Usually for a decent quality small one, upwards of 5,000 most likely.
Okay. Okay.
12?
Well, they vary in price. So this is the Sony FX3. This is $5,000. I'm gonna let you guys touch it. Logan's gonna hold it, but you guys can hold it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Do it.
I remember seeing video of someone pushing it out with
No way, for real? Was it waterproof?
It was a cinematography.
Imagine like you're doing the rail.
So
thing.
as Logan is getting ready, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the next. Hey,
This is the always cinematography.
thank you. So now we know what cinematography is. I'm gonna give you guys a scenario, and you are going to, based on the video, if you paid attention, we will be able to accomplish the scenario. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we are asked to create a video project for FYXTGears. As cinematographers, how would we start?
5 or 7.
Okay, that's a good one.
We would kind of establish essentially what we want to convey.
Okay. That's good.
We would figure out what we're filming and where we should film it at.
Okay. Yeah. Any you?
Try to get a good background or something.
A good background?
For,
Okay.
for like, if you were to take a picture for like a birthday picture or something.
Okay.
Like figure out like what type of mood you want it to be. If you want it to be like happy video or like
Yes, that's very good. And if we once we figure out the mood, what else? What helps with making a mood for a project? What is a technical answer? You.
lighting.
Lighting. So let's say we're doing an interview. What kind of lighting would we need?
If you want it to be more serious, we might use somewhat dramatic lighting, but still have a fairly soft kind of gradient towards the front.
Okay.
We might make it more colorful, it's more.
Okay. That's a good one. Anybody else? You?
If we're talking like cop show interview, probably like dark lighting, little.
Okay. You? I know you didn't raise your hand, but
Yeah, answer
What specifically?
answer Logan.
an interview. What kind of lighting would we want for an interview?
Probably some medium lighting.
Medium lighting.
And like, you don't want it super bright because it's like they're just talking. They're not really doing anything.
Okay.
And there's no reason for it to be too dark because again, they're just talking.
They're not a cop show.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You could use variable lighting, so per se like power outage, dramatic effect.
Well, that's one of the things that I talked in the video. One of the things that you want to do for continuity is making sure your external light is controlled. Let's say you're doing an interview outside, and it's 8 a.m. and you have to ask the guy 50 questions. What's going to happen? If you're doing it outside with no light, what's going to happen? And if you edit it, because when we talk naturally in an interview, there's not a lot of ums or pauses, so you have to cut a lot of things too. Keep that in mind. And if you're outside, when you're in the interview takes 2 hours, what is going to happen if you do not have control of the light?
253. The lighting will change.
Okay.
It'll get brighter as it gets later into the day.
Okay.
The mood will change too.
The mood will change, exactly. So we have to know, when we're shooting, I was shooting a documentary recently out in the woods. And one of the things that we had to pay attention to was the lighting. We only had a certain amount of hours to do a shoot. So when you want a long take, for example, and natural lighting, you have to make sure everything happens very quickly. So all of these questions that you guys answered for this project, this phase that we just engaged in is called pre-production. Pre-production is planning. Why would it be important to plan a video project, this video project? Why would it be important? Yeah.
Because you can't just go into the project with the planning, because then you kind
And what would that create? Do you think you could create something cohesive with that kind of attitude? Okay.
And if you were talking about lighting and all that stuff, if you don't plan it accordingly, you might not be able to somehow without time to do it by your deadline.
Exactly.
If you're trying to do an afternoon shot, you only have a couple hours of afternoon, so you have to plan accordingly. They are always going to use afternoon because you'll work so long.
Exactly. So I just did a documentary. You know how long I took for pre-production? Somebody guess.
5 hours.
5 hours? Okay.
2 months.
Okay. 2 months? Okay.
20.8 days.
Okay. You?
I'd say a week.
A week? And you?
24 hours?
24 hours. Okay, let me give you an idea. It was an hour long. I had to hire a therapist, a DP. Can anybody tell me what a DP is? DP. They mentioned it in the video.
They help the cinematographer figure out what they should do.
Yeah, a DP stands for Director of Photography, which is interchangeable with cinematography. So it took me 6 months for pre-production, which I had to find a location, scout a location. I drove all over Indiana trying to find a building that we could shoot in. I had to hire a director of photography. I had to hire a therapist. I had to hire somebody to do sound. And I had to hire a bunch of other people, somebody to cater because it's a big project. Yeah.
Was the therapist to better understand what mood you're setting?
No, the therapist I was doing an interview about trauma. So, because I was the director of the documentary, so I had a therapist. I told the therapist the story that I wanted, and she's an expert of asking questions to understand people better. So she helped me create a narrative through questions for the story. So that took 6 months of planning. And one other thing is you'll learn if this is of interest to you, something will always go wrong. Something will always go wrong. On the day I was shooting, our sound person dropped out. And it cost $3,000 a day to shoot, right? So my sound person is out. I had to scramble. I called 15, 20 different people trying to find a sound person because, and the thing you'll figure out if this is of interest to you is if we delayed it, we just spent $3,000 for a day, and then we have to establish everything for another $3,000. So it's very, very important to pre-plan whatever project that you're starting. And that in a fixed gear situation is where are we going? What location are we going? Is there a way to get pictures of the building? Can we Google? Can we figure out where the lights are? So before you start the project, try to think about the space that you're going to be in and how you can utilize it to create a good story. So we just did the pre-production. We filmed, we asked the questions. What do we do now? What do we do with all of the footage that we just got?
You edit it.
Okay,
You enhance and edit it.
okay. How would we enhance it?
By maybe retaking it if you have to because you didn't like a scene, or you wanted to change the story because it didn't quite make sense.
Okay, and you?
I was about to say editing, or in like editing as in like.
How would we enhance it? Enhance. What are some of the tools that we use in editing to enhance the story?
Different digital lighting effects.
Okay, that's a good one.
Sound.
Sound is, aside from pictures, sound is one of the most important things in creating video. Hands down. If you have bad sound, nobody wants to watch it, right? It's like hearing nails on a chalkboard, but the picture is great. Are you gonna want to watch a picture that has terrible sound? Yeah.
Sometimes that's the appeal of something.
What was that?
Sometimes that's the appeal of something.
Sometimes, if it's intentional to have bad sound, yes, but you don't want to intentionally put bad sound into your project.
You probably want to focus on the music behind it to help create a certain emotion.
Exactly. That's a good one. That's a good one.
For sound, or are we still doing the video?
Enhancing.
No, obviously, if you had a green screen, you can't do that unedited.
That's good. Anybody else? Okay.
Just on the green screen.
All right. So this part that we just talked about is post-production. And post-production is editing, putting sound, and that part, honestly, I think post-production is sometimes longer than the production stage, because when I was in college, I went to school for cinematography and English. My professor said for every second you edit, it's an hour, right? Yeah. I edited a 30-second video for my editing class. 30 seconds. I had to do compositing. It was using a video of a person. The car is going this way, right? Aside from him, and then he falls when the car hits him. But you have to make it look like he's getting hit by the car. So you have to max things and things. And it took me maybe 15, 20 hours to just edit a 30-second video. So editing sometimes takes a lot longer than the process. So what would help the editing process? What do you guys think would help with the editing process? If you are, yeah.
Whenever you get all of your shots during production, if you have them all tagged and sorted somewhere.
Sorting is very important, but planning, making sure your shots are created well. If the sound is off, you're gonna be in post-production trying to figure out how to make the sound good. So even before you shoot, make sure you're in a quiet environment. So when it comes to editing, it's a lot smoother. So pre-planning, pre-production, I cannot stress it enough. I know it's not, we're trying to figure things out and at FYXTGears, but if you have these things in your head, it will go with you for the rest of your life. You'll be able to take great videos on your phone with families. You'll be able to compose pictures and compose videos very, very well. And your friends are going to be like, how did you do this? You came to Jake's class 30 years ago. So, we covered a lot. Is cinematography and photography, does it sound like an interesting thing now? Do you feel like you have a good understanding? Do you feel like you guys could go out and take some good videos? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we might do that. What are some tools that you would use to aid in your visual storytelling?
Graphics.
Tools, like physical tools.
A camera.
Okay, what kind of cameras could you use?
My phone.
Okay, what else?
The cinema camera.
What else?
Logan's cinema camera.
Okay, what else?
Etc.
Okay, well, one of my favorite tools in the whole wide world is this baby right here.
Oh, a gimbal.
Yes, that is also a tool.
It's a free access thing.
This is my favorite tool, and Logan is gonna pass it around to show you guys.
Is it a gimbal Logan?
Oh,
Which man? Which
It's a
Mavic
Oh, I know when that is.
So, in what cases would you want to use a drone as opposed to a handheld camera?
If you're in the mood for flying a drone and you need aerial shots.
Okay.
When you're wanting to get fast moving away shots, you can zoom in close and zip away.
Okay.
For any top-down or airborne shots, especially like for example, if you had a scene maybe for like an airplane crisis movie, you could have use the drone as the bird flying into the engine.
That is, man, you got some big head thoughts. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's a DJ.
A more action, it looks more action-packed scene. The drone can get faster and a more wide range of shots.
That's a good. And you?
So I was one time I watched a training video, and this guy, the filmer, he had like a drone like this. He was filming like the trains going by on the tracks, and he was like filming from up in the air so that he could like get a good view of not only like a short part of the train at a time, but also like a wide extension view of the whole train.
Great. You?
Like if it's somewhere that you can't get close to, if you need to get somebody else.
Exactly. If I do a lot of my documentaries are about very serious subjects. If you guys were older, you'd definitely be able to watch them, but just because you guys are kids, it's about like trauma, and I was living on an Indian reservation and documenting people's experiences, and some of them are very hard for people to hear. You kind of have to have the maturity to do it. So that's why you're not seeing any of my past work. But now we're going to move into digital marketing. Somebody tell me what that means. What is digital marketing? Okay, I gotta pick on you.
Is it like advertising something in the digital world?
That's a good one. All right, that's a great answer. Who wants to read this? Oh, makes me nauseous. So many words. Did you read before? No, you didn't. Yes. Read digital marketing.
Digital marketing is a broad term that encompasses all marketing efforts carried out using electronic devices or the internet. It leverages digital channels such as search engines, social media, email, websites, and mobile apps to connect with current and prospective customers. Digital marketing strategies can include various tactics such as content marketing, social media marketing, search engine optimization, SEO, email marketing, online advertising, and more. The goal of digital marketing is to reach and engage the target audience, build brand awareness, drive website traffic, generate leads, and ultimately convert leads into customers. It provides businesses with a way to interact with their audience in a more personalized and measurable way compared to traditional marketing methods.
Oh my gosh, that was boring, wasn't it? I've been going over this for ages, but he did a terrific job. Okay, now, so that was very technical. Now we're going to get a more engaging understanding of what digital marketing is.
Meet Joe, a digital marketer. He works as the head of digital marketing for Amazon. But how did Joey get here? A few years ago, Joey began to see a large number of opportunities popping up in the field of digital marketing. To begin his entry to the field, he needed to understand what exactly digital marketing was and what was so great about it. First, Joey learned that digital marketing was a form of marketing through which you could advertise to people digitally. Digital marketing leveraged different channels like search engines, websites,
social media platforms, emails, and mobile applications. It would give marketers the opportunity to interact with and understand their audience better, and to increase the trust in their brand. Digital marketing would also show marketers advertisements to people based on their actions and preferences on the internet, while being less expensive than traditional forms of advertising. After understanding the main concepts of digital marketing, Joey realized there was more to digital marketing than he initially thought. There were also many types of digital marketing. Types like content marketing, search engine optimization, pay-per-click, social media marketing, email marketing, and affiliate marketing. And once he understood those types, he set up a digital marketing campaign for his uncle's e-commerce website. Let's have a look at what he came up with. First, Joey created content like blogs, videos, infographics, and case studies so that he could generate audience interest in the brand's products or services. This was content marketing. Next, he needed his audience to actually see his content. The first step was to create content on specific search keywords that were relevant to the target audience. Joey would make optimizations on the website and have credible websites linking back to the content. And lo and behold, the website began ranking on the first page of the search results. By continuous optimizations, Joey would continue to improve the ranking and ultimately make the website rank at the first position. This was SEO, or search engine optimization, and Joey could do all of this without spending a single penny. He could also drive traffic to the website with advertisements. But for this, he would have to pay a certain fee each time the ads were clicked. He could have text ads that show up in search engine results, image ads and video ads that show up in websites, and much more. This was possible with the help of PPC, or pay-per-click. However, Joey wasn't done yet. To reach a larger audience, he needed to tap into social media platforms. He would use social media platforms like LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram to advertise the brand's content. He would use these platforms to advertise the brand's products or services with posts, images, videos, and more to bring out the brand's story and engage with the brand's audience, who spend a lot of time on social media. Like PPC, he could use the platform to advertise the brand's products or services with text, image, and video ads, which needed to be paid for. That's social media marketing. Joey realized that a large amount of the audience weren't visiting the brand's website a second time. He needed to keep them engaged, nurture them, to make sure they purchased the product. For this, he would send them emails that helped them better understand the products they visited on the website and assist them in the buying process. He would also send emails to advertise his products or services to potential customers, that is, with email marketing. And finally, although Joey was able to grow the brand's funnel, he wanted more traffic from third-party websites. This could be achieved with affiliate marketing. Affiliates would promote the brand or product to their audiences for a fee with the help of email signups, registrations, conversions, subscriptions, etc. After setting all of this up, Joey had the hardest part of the process to get through, the wait. Now, as we wait for the results, let's take a break and look at a quiz. Which one of the following forms of Meet Joey, a digital marketer?
Anyways, that is an overview of digital marketing. And the reason I'm showing you this is Frank gave us a job, right? FhyXTGears gave us a job. We have no budget, no money whatsoever. But he wants more people to understand what FhyXTGears is. How would we go about doing that based on everything that we've learned about digital marketing?
You start with a free website.
Okay, we have a website. Man, you just know so much. And you have such good answers. Good job. I really appreciate your participation.
One thing we don't have, and I've never, if we have done this before, I don't know, but I've never seen an advertisement for FhyXTGears. You know all those companies that do like, for example, I see a lot of ads on roofing panels for like roofing stuff as it's fall. We need to have ads for like, I don't know how we would make the ad instead of going to be, but something like the ads for schools that show you how great this program is.
That's a very good thing. So one of the things that we could do is put flyers at schools. tools to show what FXTGears is. Who loves FXTGears? Who here loves FXTGears? Everybody? Well, a lot of you do, and I think FXTGears is an amazing place. And one of the things that, as an organization, that we need to do is get more people interested about FXTGears, which will help in so many different ways. We have sponsors who help pay for our student fees, and we have sponsors who help pay for equipment, all of those things. And it's very important that us, because FXTGears is nothing without you little humans, right? It's nothing. So one of the things that we as a body have to do is understand, how can we get more people interested in this place, because this is preparing you for the rest of your life. The skills that you learn here will help you in college, will help you in your job, will help you take better videos. There's so many tools that we learn here. And does anybody want other people to learn about this? Yeah? More people? Yeah? Yeah, so more people need to learn about this. And this exercise right now is, what are some ways that we can engage the public to know more about FXTGears? You. Okay. Anybody? You.
I was thinking like put out like flyers or ads on the internet and like kind of give some or even like a YouTube video and kind of like give a background based on like a story of some sort.
Yeah. One more question. One more answer. You? He volunteered you as tribute, buddy.
Yeah, tribute. Wait, who?
What are some ways that we can engage the public about FXTGears?
Do more social media.
Okay. So all of those tools are great at engaging. And Frank asked me, throughout this year, throughout this season, will be asked, some of you may be asked to take photos, some of you may be asked to do some videos, and some of you may be asked to write a post for FXTGears. And understanding, having a general overview of these different areas will help inform how you tell a story through a camera, and also how to tell a story through marketing, and the creative ways that we can all do it. So FXTGears is a team, and we're all here together. So as the season goes, and as Frank asked for different tasks like video and marketing and stuff like that, one of the great things about cinematography and digital marketing is it allows everybody to be creative. It doesn't have to look like everything else. So as you go through the year, and as Frank and me possibly, because I'll be doing some video work with Logan, and if anybody's interested, please let Frank know, and let me know, and I'll teach you about digital marketing and cinematography, which is also photography. So if anybody's interested, let Frank know, and throughout the year, you might be asked, take a photo, take a video. And what will your answer be? Can you do it?
Yes.
Yep. Oh my goodness, Alex.
Okay, I would hope everybody has a resounding yes. We can do it. Thank you so much for your time. And throughout the year, I really hope you guys are as creative as you possibly can. This is a great place to learn, a great place to fail. But at the end, we come out as better people, right? And that's what FXTGears is. So, thank you.